VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard. We are live today in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Big program lined up over the next 3 hours. Solid guests as always. Julian Edlow on the program in 30 minutes. Best bets for the NBA Summer League, the schedule for tonight, and futures out here in Las Vegas as it starts this week. Zach Cohen on Wimbledon as we are down now to the semis. He's coming up in an hour, and also some win totals in the NBA. Mike Palm later on, Matt Humans as well. Nice little Wednesday carved out for us, Paulie. I don't know. I might go to Home Depot after the show. Going to be a lot of fun. Right? With those Wimbledon matches earlier today, we have some day baseball in action. And 2 games already final in a WNBA and a really good matchup right now in the second quarter. I like this. This is good.
It was fun. Yeah. And the Sun were getting 17, and they won by 10. How's a nice 11-1 on a money line at a 9 a.m., 8 a.m. start for you?
Pretty good. What was that in the fourth
good.
quarter? Like 27-9 or something like that?
Yeah.
They outscored them? That, not only that, but also Golden State catching 7 points against the Fever.
Rout.
Killed them in the second half.
Yep, blew them out. And as Kazarian mentioned, they went over their win total last week. They have surprised a lot of people. And I thought the tennis was awesome. And the Joker match, phenomenal. And Kabola was game. That third set was incredible. A 17 and an 18-shot rally. And how he pulled out the third set and how the guy's still able to do this. I believe he tied Federer. If you can look that up, Luke. I believe he ties Federer with 7 straight semifinal appearances at Wimbledon, but he moves on now, and he was phenomenal, and it was a great tennis match, and the dog was plus 650 there.
Sure.
I thought he had a chance, but...
he was absolutely live, Paul.
Sure,
I mean, let's be honest here. It's not... Djokovic did not have to have the third set, but that's a total game changer for him to actually pull that one out when it was looking hairy, and if it goes to the other way, then we're probably going to be looking at a 5-setter, and then anything could happen, and...
I thought he had him. I thought that, Kaboli, I thought he had him.
So did
I.
Yep.
And what, 14 straight semis now, beating Federer's 13. Great job, Luke. So that sets up the matchup against Sinner, who didn't look like he was anything wrong with his elbow.
Well, I'm guessing Books did pretty well today.
Sure. 80-cent move on Shelton, right? Practice canceled. The big move on Shelton. It's 5-4 Shelton in the first set. Sinner comes back to win a tiebreaker, and then he was 2-1 to win in straight sets. Sinner against Joker and Alcaraz against Fritz for all the marbles. Going to be a fun Friday.
At DK, Sinner is minus 215. The Joker plus 160. You've been watching a lot of this.
Yeah.
Today it kind of felt like the Sinner news, to me anyway, and I'll keep going back to this occasionally when the football season comes up. It's like on game day, right? It could be a primetime game on a Monday night, Thursday night, whatever. Hey, this guy's questionable, and it really is unlikely that he's going to play. Okay, well then how about we bet some unders on him, and he comes out and he looks like he's perfectly healthy and there's nothing wrong, and he has 9 catches for 130 yards. Like, wait, what was up with that report? And Sinner today, to come back, and I say come back, it's like he was coming back from the dead after not practicing yesterday, but to win like that in straight sets, to be impressive overall, not too shabby. Again, Luke's our producer here. He loves tennis, and he thinks the number, to me, talking before the show started, he thinks it should be a little bit shorter here. Thinks plus 160 is a good number to grab on Joker.
Okay. And then money came in on Fritz. Well, right before the show as well. Alcaraz was $6, and now he's at $5.25 in some spots, minus 5.5 games, and minus 150 to win Wimbledon now as well. So,
he was plus 425 in that match against Alcaraz, and now that's gone, wiped away. Maybe at some books, I guess, but at DK, he's now down to plus 390 there.
And then we knew this was going to happen with the women and Belinda Bencic, who just had the kid and took the break off, had the break, a time off. I think she's 29 years old. ESPN was making it out like when USA beat Russia in hockey. I mean, she was only 2-1, but she moves on to the semis, and she takes on Iga, who's $3. The last 3 years, the women's draw at Wimbledon, the winners were 100-1, 80-1, and 100-1. Bencic was 66-1 at some spots, higher in others. She's through to the semis. It's Sabalenka's tournament, $1.30 to win it. But then you have that tomorrow, early in the morning, 8:30 in the morning with the Sabalenka match, and then Iga goes right after that. See if this happens again. We get another long shot here, and you can certainly maneuver because if you have the 70-1, the 65-1, it's not an outrageous price on Iga if you want to hedge or try to lock in a profit.
Well, sure, but I would say, right, I mean, based on how this tournament has gone over the years, now, this could be, as you mentioned, Sabalenka's tournament, and she might win the next two, and then it looks easy peasy at that point. But she was in trouble in her last match. There's no denying that,
right.
And it did not look pretty.
Right. Down 3-1 in the third.
So I don't know, maybe we're going to get more carnage here on the ladies' side. But it's been a fun tournament.
Could be, yeah.
And, coupled with what happened at the French Open, if we get Sinner and Alcaraz again in the final, I mean, based on what took place at Roland Garros, I mean, that's going to, it's must-watch TV anyway every year in these majors, or Grand Slams. But that would be awesome to get those two guys to go back-to-back here in such a short amount of time for two different titles. In the WNBA, we talked about those two games today where the Dogs were barking big time. The Connecticut Sun to win like that, I mean, ridiculous. Horrible loss by Seattle. Minnesota was also laying a big number today, 7.5 against Phoenix. They are tied right now, 30 apiece. About 3.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. And then later on tonight.
Oh, yeah, it's your big boy.
Yeah.
Angel Reese in action. Did you ladder it?
I have not yet.
20 rebounds is 6-1. DraftKings has 13 plus $1.90. 14 plus $1.50. The over-under is 14.5. 6 games in a row with 15 or more. And first player to do so, and then going back the last 6, she's averaging 18, 17, and 5 dimes. She's $1.75 to score 15-plus points as well. $1.05 to score 17. This great run that she's on, and should be a high-scoring game as they're taking on Dallas, and Dallas laying 1.
All right, so I'm seeing 14-plus rebounds right now as low as minus 112.
Okay, much better.
I think that's absolutely worth a bet.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna bet that right now, actually.
You want to do with the points? What do you want to do with the points?
Well, actually, that's another. I was going to bring it up.
It's a little inflated because they're going back on the run she's on. But, the body of work, we're averaging 12 a game. This great run has coincided with an injury, and also she's found her game, but also it's only a 6-game sample size. So it's a little high tonight with the points prop.
Yeah. Well, I would look at this, though, Paulie, because the rebounds now have been adjusted so high that the PRA has been pretty awesome with her, and that might be more tolerable, I guess, at this point, if you don't want to swallow such a big number with the rebounding props. Although, again, like 14 plus, same thing as over 13.5 minus 112. I'm going to have to bet that one on principle. I'm also looking, I see 16 plus. You mentioned some other numbers. 16 plus is plus 210 tonight. A lot of these books will offer different props on her.
Sure.
Which is great. And DK, this got so popular with her that they, a while back now, earlier this summer, they actually started to go with the me-bounce. And I love how she embraced that, by the way.
Trademarked it, called up the agent. Great move.
Sure.
Yep.
Getting creative, wants to capitalize on this. It's not, you can make fun of her all you want. I think that's a huge mistake. And we've talked about this with, the likes of Doug Kazarian in the past, where he's in the same boat as Jay Billis, where they call hustle a skill.
Great line.
And there's nothing, I mean, who should be ashamed of something like that? You should be proud of that. That's how every single athlete should play. And for her to actually say, okay, I can do something about this, why not? I'll have fun with it, and that's pretty cool.
Great job. Let me sneak in a play here before this gets out of control. I love the Phillies today. They're $1.80 in play. They're even money run line at DraftKings. Shop wherever you bet. They're up 1-0. Where middle of July, Verlander doesn't have a win. Verlander, after his last start, I can't quite get fastballs by guys when I should be able to. I can't get them to chase the good off-speed pitch. When I throw a bad one, they're on it. I've had 2 or 3 instances in my career where everything I've done, I've known to try to fix something, doesn't work, and I've had to reinvent the wheel. Well, right now, I'm just throwing bleep against the wall and see what works. Hopefully, I can rely on a lot of my past and understand my mechanics and figure it out quickly. That's an unbelievable quote. He just doesn't have it. Telling quote, can't get it past the guys, won't chase the off-speed stuff, throwing bleep against the wall. Already 1-0 Phillies in the second inning, and there could be more coming for the Phillies. And after that vicious beat last night with an inside-the-park walk-off home run job.
That was how about this? OptaStats on X, the first day, and this makes sense, right? It's the first time in Major League Baseball history to have both a leadoff inside-the-park home run, that was Lawrence Butler for the A's last night, and a walk-off inside-the-park home run, Patrick Bailey, the one that you just talked about, all in the same day. I get it. Like, that's impossible. It's never happened in the history of baseball, and there's a reason why.
Yeah. Catcher hadn't done since 26.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
17 blown saves by this Phillies team on the year.
I know. What the record could be. Third most blown saves, no doubt.
Like, this pitching staff is too good to have a wasted season. Mm-hmm. Right? You have to do something at the deadline. You have to shore that up. There's no messing around. Like, they are getting, like, phenomenal starts from almost all their guys in the rotation every time out. Now, there's going to be a hiccup once in a while.
Yeah.
But look back to that series against Houston not that long ago. They gave up 5 earned runs. They pitched almost 20 innings combined in 3-game series, and they never won a game.
Yep. Our NFL guide's out. It's awesome, over 90 pages. We got a game coming up in a couple weeks. Hall of Fame game. Can't wait. Previews of every team, every division, best bets, awards, MVP, got it all. Lock in your football special for $175 through the Super Bowl. Every best bet, every host, every guest, the 24/7 video, the data, the tools. This expires July 31st. Coincides with the Hall of Fame game. That's when it expires. VSiN.com/subscribe. Get it now. $175 through the Super Bowl. VSiN.com/subscribe.
We have to hope that Verlander can make it through the second time, and the second time through the order with the Phillies. I'll explain why coming up next to maybe get a live bet in. And more on Major League Baseball. One game had a major impact on an award. Details next.
What's the guarantee?
Mike, time to make history. Players at Circa Million make 5 picks against the spread each week with quarterly and full season payouts.
Circa Survivor entries choose one team each week with no point spread. The last one standing wins it all.
We have $21 million on the line. Are you in? Visit circasports.com for details.
So, Paulie, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah. Came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it, it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
On the next Money Moves, we're deep in the dog days of summer as the All-Star break continues, but we're diving into the MLB betting slate along with our breakdown of the Netflix show Quarterback and odds on each guy. Terrell Furman will drop by as well to help us preview day one of the Vegas Summer League, plus who he has his eye on to win Summer League MVP. It's all happening starting at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, right here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
So, Paulie, you mentioned how you really wanted to fade, and you did. Verlander today and the Giants. They trail Philadelphia 1-0 right now, bottom of the second. The Giants do have a runner on first with one out. And it looks like Schmidt, the second baseman, who was number 6 in the order, he is at bat as we speak. Coming to the plate for the Phillies in the top of the third is going to be their 9-batter, Marsh, the center fielder, and then it's going to go back to 1-2 with Turner and Schwarber and potentially into Harper there. And here's what I was talking about before the break with Justin Verlander. So the first time through the order did not go very well for him today. Gave up a run, trails 1-0, like I said. The ERA, 3.30, 3.55 with the FIP. BABIP, 289. Been pretty solid overall. The second time through the order. So if you would like to get on board maybe and look for a run for the Phillies to be, to score a run in the third inning or maybe even the fourth inning, the second time through the order, Verlander's ERA jumps to 6.84. The xFIP, a little bit better, but it's still nearly at 5. Only an 18% K rate, a 1.63 whip, and a 36.4% hard hit rate. You're not going to be able to find that at all books. Some you will. Maybe it's if you can find a nice plus number on the Phillies to score a run in the third or the fourth inning, might be worth a shot here.
Very good, very good. And the winning streak on the line and in trouble with the Blue Jays. What a story this has been with Hauser. Can you believe this?
I really can't.
No, he's allowed one earned run in his last 22 innings. It's 2-1 Chicago, bottom of the seventh, and allowed 12 runs in his last 9 starts. This is nuts. Journeyman hasn't done much, but what he's doing for the White Sox here, and allowed one earned run, just got out of the seventh. They're minus 380 in play. 8 innings, no runs. 7 innings, no runs. 6 innings, 2 runs. 6 innings, 1 run. This is unbelievable what the guy's doing on a lousy team and came out of nowhere. Congrats to him. Well done.
Well, with this Toronto team being so red hot, now that they're in the bottom of the seventh, if they can get out of this thing unscathed and go back to the top of the eighth, they will have 9-1-2 coming up in this inning, which means Luke's at the top, followed by Bichette, and then maybe into Guerrero as well, batting third today. If they can get out of this inning, grabbing the Blue Jays at plus 267 to come back and win this game right now, maybe not the worst idea. You just have to avoid having, the White Sox score any more runs here in the bottom of the seventh. Here's another thing, too. How much of that do you think is Hauser's been really good, combined with the Blue Jays are on this torrid pace, and they're on the verge of sweeping them. Always have to sweep a team, even though it's a bottom feeder. And they played, another night game last night. There was a rain delay hanging around the ballpark for a long time. Finally called after, 7 innings or in the 7th inning. Yeah. And then today, day game again, does that factor in at all?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I just credit Hauser, too. I mean, with the sick run he's been on. It's the pitching was great. You could lose a 2-1 game here. But they'd had won 9 in a row in Chicago. And 28-10 since late May, what the Jays are doing. And then the Dodgers have them loaded right now for Freddie Freeman. 2-1, top of the seventh. They're minus 350 in play. Big shot in the arm. They got Killian Murphy back. His first start since April 27th. They needed that. He's great. So the last time they lost 6 in a row was 2019. So we'll see if Freeman can come up with a big hit here in the top of the seventh.
I'll tell you this. Glasnow was extremely fortunate today. Bottom of the second, bases juiced. 1 out. The Brewers to score a run in that spot, very, very high, obviously, mathematically speaking. He got out of it, and he was already north of 40 pitches through 2 innings. And so with him erupting, or avoiding that eruption, I should say, from the Brewers offense, settled down a little bit after that. But I think, if anything, I don't want to get completely nuts, but my thoughts were before the series even started, the Brewers are going to be super dangerous in the playoffs because I firmly believe that they're a playoff team. And I think this kind of speaks to how scary they can be. Now, is Mizorowski going to be like that for the rest of the year? Absolutely not. But to give up that leadoff home run to Ohtani, then come back and strike out 12 guys, and here's, again, what I was talking about before the break to pay off the tees. Here's how big the National League Rookie of the Year was impacted based on that performance last night. He was in the neighborhood of plus 150 to win the award before the start, which translates to a 40% chance to win the award. I think he was also in plus 180 at some books, which means 35%. He's now minus 185 to win the award. That's essentially 65% to win it. And, I mean, obviously it had to change after what he did again last night.
Yeah. So the Mets game was just a fluke, it appears.
Now, I will say...
It's also the comments after the game from Ohtani and Kershaw about how good this guy is. And
for sure.
He's got a little cockiness and confidence to his game as well, and swagger. Because I think there was a comment earlier about Kershaw. I don't know much about him, and he said, well, Kershaw better know about me now.
Right.
After what he did and beat him and struck out 12 guys. And you're right. Incredible guts and moxie to come back after Ohtani takes you deep and you shut him down.
I will say the Dodgers are not only, down a handful of pitchers, and they have been pretty much the entire year. Their offense has been missing, outside of the very top of the lineup, the offense at the bottom half, missing like a ton of guys right now, or, at least a handful of players. I think it just also speaks to, like we're talking about, oh my God, sky is falling in LA. If they lose this game, that's 6th straight, like you said, for the first time in many, many years. What was the year, in fact?
19.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. 2019, yeah.
If they can navigate this and get back with all these guys being healthy, I mean, think about what they're going to look like potentially when Ohtani's going to be pitching, Paulie, later on in the year.
Yep.
Pretty scary.
Absolutely. Our buddy Richie in Dedham, Mass. His neighbor is Schittler's dad. He's the number 2 prospect with the Yankees. He makes his debut tonight against the Mariners. The dad is very confident and says he's the real deal. Yankees $1.55.
I'll tell you what, it's pretty scary to say on live TV and radio. Schittler is in for Schmidt tonight because he got hurt.
Yeah.
Good luck with that one.
Probably out for the year, right? Isn't it Tommy John or something?
Yeah.
Biggs, yeah.
But I will say, I think this kind of speaks to the Mariners overall. Now, there was a rain delay last night.
Yeah.
That was a little bit funky. It got away from them, and Gilbert wasn't great again. But I'm to the point now with this particular season where I like Seattle against a lot of the bad teams, but I can't take them seriously. It's only one game. I don't want to get completely crazy. However, I do have a ticket on them, a pretty healthy ticket on them to win the World Series in terms of the overall bet size on it. And if they make the playoffs, with their lack of hitting at times, and I don't even know where I am with the overall trust level with the pitching, I want to absolutely love it, and that's one of the reasons why I made the World Series bet. But against the best of the best, how far is that going to actually take them? I would not like their chances in a series against Houston.
Yeah, I know.
And there are some other teams. Detroit, forget about it. And probably a team like the Yankees, and we'll see how it plays out with the Blue Jays.
Well, the deadline could be big for them, too.
Has to be.
I hope they go for it.
Go get Suarez.
Send in your tickets if you have them. Last night was the night. Mitch mentioned it came in, but it didn't pay much. The Judge, big dumper, same-game parlay home run. Judge, Ohtani, Raleigh, Seager, Cruz, Alonso, all go deep same night.
Now,
got to be some big tickets out there.
I did look at that specifically for the matchup. And remember when the Yankees played against the Dodgers earlier this year on that Friday night, and it was an epic first 15 minutes where Judge and Ohtani each went yard in the first inning. And I think everybody had same-game parlays there. So I was like, okay, now he's taking on Cal Raleigh. It's going to be the same thing. If that number would have been around 10-1, I would have been much higher on it, but it was below 6-1, and to me, that was unbettable. It cashed, and congratulations for everybody who bet it, but I can't bet a same-game home run parlay on any two. Home run derby, maybe, but an actual game for two guys that hit a home run and it pays below 6-1, I have no interest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm not going to even look at what the number is tonight. Probably won't be that much because they did it last night.
Yep. You got a fishy game? You got a fishy line? Like last night again, it keeps coming in, right? The Houston-Cleveland game and then the Cubbies and the Twins. And they haven't been close either. What's happened?
I was hoping the Braves would be another, big favorite tonight against the A's.
Yeah.
That's what I was hoping for because it would have made no sense. Literally on Fangraphs today of the probable pitchers going, Bryce Elder is listed as the worst pitcher because it goes by WAR.
Yeah.
When you don't do any sorting, he's got a negative 0.5 WAR on the year. And all of his other numbers are just miserable. We'll dive into the full card coming up a little bit later on. Wanted to catch you up to date with what's going on with today's action as well. But that would have been the one for me where, and maybe, by the way, if you can find a 10 on that game, because Spence goes for the A's, I would expect more runs in that ballpark tonight.
Yep.
By the way, do you have a fishy number?
Yeah, I would just. I think the Rangers should touch up Hendricks. So I would say the Rangers should be a bigger favorite. Rocker's been great. Rangers starting to hit. And I think they should be higher than $1.20.
Okay.
That seems kind of weird.
Here's one. What do you make of the Marlins-Reds number? And it looks like Cincinnati's taking some money now.
That's one, too, right?
Because Abbott's been awesome.
He's had 2 bad starts the whole year.
Right.
12 going back before the last start. 12 of the 14 starts, 1 earned run or fewer. Ridiculous.
Yeah. But this Marlins team.
I know, 11 in a row on the road. Boy, I thought Martinez would be good. He'd been so good against him career. He was awful. Gave up 10 runs.
I know. We'll discuss betting the NBA Summer League with Julian Edlow up next. Lots of good rosters, as always, for this event, which starts this weekend. This week in Las Vegas. Which teams are worth a bet? We'll find out next here on Follow the Money.
Season the sharp way with a VSiN Pro subscription. Right now, grab our football special for just $175. An early bird deal that gives you full VSiN access through the Super Bowl. That includes our NFL betting guide, loaded with team previews, power ratings, and season-long best bets. Plus, pro picks sent to your inbox daily, betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, live shows on the VSiN Watch app, and so much more. Don't wait. Sign up now at VSiN.com/subscribe and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Good to have you on board. We're live in downtown Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. The Vegas Summer League starts tomorrow with a plethora of games. We had action in a couple of different spots going on this week up until last night. And we head out here to the Progressive Guest Line. Julian Edlow does a great job for DraftKings, and he joins the program now. Julian, thanks for the time today. How are you?
Doing well. How about you guys?
Doing well.
All right, man.
I will point out that it can be dicey betting these WNBA. It can be dicey betting that for sure. But Summer League, no doubt. For example, I was on the Sixers last night on the money line. They're down, I think, 31-13 before I could blink. Memphis couldn't miss. And then suddenly the 76ers had a 16-point lead late third quarter, and then they were down before, like in the late fourth quarter. I'm like, what the hell is happening before they came back to win the game? And Julian, by the way, another key here, right? Like how many, when you look at futures to win the Summer League out here in Las Vegas, I think the key is like how many games will some of these players actually be out there on the court for?
That is the biggest key. And to go back to what you said about betting games, I've bet 2 games so far in the Summer Leagues that we saw. I bet Utah money line against Memphis 2 nights ago. They won by 1, and it was a game where Gigi Jackson banked in was it a 3, was it a 2 to send it to overtime. They called it a 2. Utah wins by 1. They were laying points in that game. And I was on the Sixers last night with you. That was a game where they were underdogs. Then they're like a 2.5-point favorite. I bet them on the money line right before tip. They win by 1 in a crazy game. So Summer League is, you're going to scale down your units. It's going to be wild. And one of the keys is who's playing. And if you're an NBA bettor, you're accustomed to injury reports, load management, who's going to play. But this comes without the injury reports and the timing. This is like beat reporters, or if you're in the building, finding out in warmups after the initial game ends, players come out, warm up for the next game. All right, who's out there and who's not? So that's a huge piece of it. And, the reason I would imagine that you bet Philly last night, the reason I did, is we get the tweet 10, 15 minutes before the game. All of those Grizzlies guys, Gigi Jackson, Jalen Wells, they're legit NBA players, are sitting. That's the easiest number one key, I guess, to betting Summer League. The problem is you got to find that information. Then you got to quickly bet it. And it can be tedious, but that's definitely the stuff we're looking for. And now we're going to see as we get to Vegas, all right, who's going to play for these teams? How many games are they going to play? And one of the real keys, some of these teams coming from California and Utah that have played their guys, are their guys going to start playing in Vegas, or are they going to rest them right off the bat?
All excellent points. So how about a couple teams that you want to bet on going into this action and a big card tomorrow?
Yeah, so the first one that jumped out to me is Minnesota, and they play in the first game. They play against the Pelicans. Now, the Pelicans almost made my list as a bet-on team, too, so I don't love that this is the opening game of the Vegas Summer League. It opened Minnesota laying 5.5 on DraftKings. We're down to 4.5. I do like Minnesota, though. New Orleans is good. They've got Yves Missi, the big man from Baylor, who's got a Summer League and an NBA season under his belt. They use the draft picks on, Jeremiah Fears, who should be a good point guard. But still, that's a kid coming out after his freshman year, going up against big competition. And then obviously they made that wild trade with Atlanta for the unprotected pick, where they have Derek Queen, another freshman, on this roster. But Minnesota's got like NBA scorers on the roster. Terrence Shannon Jr., who came off the bench in playoff games and we saw score quickly. He's on the roster. Rob Dillingham, another like microwave scorer from Kentucky who's got an NBA season under his belt, he's on the roster. So these are guys, and I would imagine they play like 2 games and hang it up. But these are guys that are going to be scoring and guys that you want to bet on out of the gates in my mind. So they also have Jalen Clark, Amari Bailey, a couple of kids from UCLA to kind of stabilize that roster. I don't mind Minnesota. And again, any team I recommend here is early because the rosters are going to change and these guys are going to sit. But Minnesota is a team in those first 2 games or so that I would look at betting.
I think they can win the whole thing based on what you said. Shannon's really good. I think Dillingham, like in the Summer League, can be dynamite. But again, are they going to be playing the entire event? I have no idea.
If you made me guess on guys like, they played real NBA minutes last year.
Oh, yeah.
Like not a part of the playoff rotation, but they played real minutes on most nights. And particularly when guys with load management were out, that, they would use those guys. So I would imagine if you made me guess, those are the type of guys that are going to play 2 games.
Give us some other rosters, by the way, early on again. And you got to check this stuff again, like tomorrow when the games are actually going to be played. But some teams that you circled, like you want to probably be betting on here early at the Summer League.
Yeah, and I'll tell you quick, I posted an article today on DK Network that just has a screenshot of every team's roster. So if you want to check that out and handicap or grade the rosters for yourself, go for it. I did put the Wizards here just because they have so much young talent. Like, whether the Wizards turn out to be a good team down the line or not, we will see. But they used the draft pick on a great scorer, great shooter in Trey Johnson from Texas. Last year's number 2 overall pick, Alex Sarr, is on the roster. These are guys that are probably going to play like 2 games, but they would play out of the gate. Bub Carrington, who was another high pick for them, on the roster. And then other solid players, Keyshawn George, Keyshawn Gilbert, guys that you would hear of from college on the roster, Kadari Richmond from St. John's. I think the Wizards have some talent there. The Knicks, not the type of team that are going to have those top 10 or lottery picks that are going to catch your eye, but they have Tyler Kolek at point guard, who has NBA minutes, NBA experience, G League experience. I like that they have a guy that they're probably going to play a lot of big minutes, who I think can help carry a team. And they have some okay talent around him. So I threw the Knicks on the list. And then the Grizzlies, I have to put here because of the talent, Gigi Jackson, Jalen Wells, Cam Spencer. Those are real NBA players that we've seen on the floor. The caveat here is they just played 3 games in Utah. Now, they rested those guys on the game where you and I bet the Sixers, Mitch, last night. So do they start them in the first game in Vegas? Do they give them more rest and then bring them back? I don't know. So I like the Grizzlies, but we have to pay attention to how their roster starts off, given that they've already played.
How about in the big one tomorrow? It begins with the Lakers taking on Cooper Flagg and the Mavericks. Tickets going, do you see this, Paulie? As high as $2,500.
Oh, come on.
For the game, higher than what it was for LeBron. It's absolutely bananas. So overall, like, how much does Flagg play in this game? The Lakers are laying 2.5, by the way, and the total is 177.5.
Yeah, I have to say really quickly before I get into this game, given the $2,500 price tag to sit courtside for Summer League, that is insane. That is more than I'm a Celtics season ticket holder, you guys know. That is more than my NBA Finals tickets resale value is going up for. Here in Boston, we used to have a Summer League at UMass Boston. I went for $10 and sat 3rd row to see LeBron James in 2003. Now people are going to spend $2,500 to see Cooper Flagg. It's crazy. You cannot justify it. I'm happy to have a credential to these games in Vegas. Okay, now we can get to the game. I have the Jazz on my teams that are fades for me or overrated in this tournament. People are going to see Cooper Flagg as a underdog tomorrow and probably bet on him. Now, we open this game 1.5 at DK. It is up to 2.5. So Lakers presumably have taken a little bit of money. Lakers roster isn't great. And again, they played in the California Classic. So, they just had a big comeback the other night. Dalton Knecht had a bunch of late points in that game. Bronny James hasn't been doing much. I wouldn't bet on the Lakers because of Bronny James. But look at Dallas's roster. Beyond Cooper Flagg, they are not good. They have 2 guys with NBA experience. Everybody else is a rookie. They're just taking college kids and trying them out for this veteran team that they have. So I would look at fading them early with Flagg, given the Flagg hype. And then when Flagg, after he plays, I think it's going to be 2 games. Once he sits, Dallas's roster is very thin, and they're losing by far their best player. They should be a team both early and then as the Summer League progresses that I would look at fade.
Very good. Final 2 minutes here. The Spurs are taking on the 76ers. Edgecombe was awesome in his first game. Hurt the thumb. They're laying 4.5 tomorrow night against San Antonio. Do you like the Spurs here?
Yeah, this opened 5.5 on DK. It's moved a point. I think I like the Spurs, but as the case is with 95% of summer leagues, I'm not going to know until 10 minutes before tip. Both of these teams have played summer league games so far. San Antonio was in California. Philly was in Utah. So questions everywhere. Is VJ Edgecombe going to return from the thumb injury? Were they just kind of holding him out to make his Vegas debut? Don't know. Are other guys on Philly going to sit because they already played time? Not sure. What I do know is that the Spurs, unlike the Sixers, rested their high draft picks in the California Classic, didn't play them and saved them for Vegas. So Dylan Harper and Carter Bryant, the other lottery pick from Arizona, have not played yet. So if those guys are in and Edgecombe and any other Sixers are out, I think it's worth taking a look at San Antonio with the points. But again, we got to wait until that one gets closer.
Very good. You can follow Julian on X. He's at Julian Edlow, EDLOW, Sports Betting Content, DK Network. And for DraftKings, that was a great spot, Julian. You're coming out here for the Summer League, man. Have a great time.
Yeah, I'll be out there Sunday to Wednesday covering some games. Hopefully have some fun.
Very cool.
Thank you.
There you go. And he was on the Progressive guest line. Win Some, Lose Some is up next. It would have been a bad result for books had this been a regular season or certainly a playoff game. Paulie with the details coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim. It's the only thing like it in the world.
Starting July 14th, gear up for the football season with VSiN Training Camp Today. Live every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. Hosted by Kelly Bidlin, Nick Whalen, and Jeff Erickson. With special guests throughout the week, VSiN Training Camp Today delivers sharp insights on season-long props, futures markets, fantasy draft prep, playoff picks, and more. VSiN Training Camp Today, all week. Starting July 14th at 10 a.m. Eastern. Powered by the experts at VSiN. The Sports Betting Network.
Win Some, Lose Some is sponsored by the Sharp Plays.
Were you a winner last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
A market that's available every day at DraftKings and Will Hill and Caesars. Most runs, Rangers, 20-1. They explode again, and Seager's on a great run. I don't mind Simeon props tonight as well.
By the way, I mean, we brought that up yesterday. Good luck figuring out Soriano for the Angels.
Yeah, no kidding.
He's Cy Young one start. The next time he gives up 11 earned runs. Like, what the hell's going on here?
Yep. Had this one right. Cardinals $1.80 up to $2.40. Sonny Gray gets it done. They win 4-2. He had the long rain delay there as well. He made one mistake. They are 10-1 when he in his starts at home. He's been great for St. Louis, and they've been great backing him in home starts. Blue Jays do it again. $1.70 up to $2. Oh, they're down 2-1 in the ninth today, as Hauser has been shutting them down. Red Sox $2.40 up to $2.90. Rockies get obliterated. WNBA this morning. Connecticut Sun, 17-point dog, no problem. Forget about the points. Give me the money line. 11-1 on the money line. They won by double digits. And Golden State pounded the Fever, plus 260. And Belinda Bencic, 2-1 as well. She moves on to the semifinals. She was 70-1 to win the tournament before it started, and she's now in the semis in action tomorrow. Subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in, we'll put you on. This is great. Another good look where the dog wants to sleep with the humans and on their bed. So he brings his bed in from the other room, jumps on the bed, and puts his bed on their bed. It's eventually can get it, right? It's heavy. He got it in his mouth. It's heavy. And then finally, okay, I'm comfortable. That's it. Okay, I'm on. Little TV here. I'm good. Side of the bed, on my bed, I'm on your bed. I want to sleep with you guys.
So how weird is this? Our little dog, Mickey, she weighs like 10 pounds. When we put her on our bed, she gets off immediately. When I put her dog bed on top of our bed, like this guy's doing right here, she'll sleep all night long.
Interesting. Very good. That's excellent. Good job. Love those videos. How about a Pup Cup compilation? How good is this? Going to the drive-thru, the husky barking, having a good time. Give me my Pup Cup. Give me my treat. Come on, trying to grab it. Quit teasing me. Got it there. Here you go. You got a little fella there. He grabs it, no problem, right? Yeah, polite, nice and polite. Well-behaved, sure. Another one coming in. He grabs it there. I love the guy behind's filming the whole thing. That's great. There's the little guy. Little pug. Yeah. We didn't have the volume. It's good with the volume, too, while they're making noises. But then look at the big guy grab it with his mouth. Excellent. Those are so good on Instagram with the Pup Cup and how anxious they are and making all that noise. Look at the guy here. He's looking at the dog in front of him, and he knows. And this guy comes up and gets the treat as well. He walks up and barks.
Right at the food truck.
Sure, with the food truck it has it. Excellent. Very good. Lose some. Here's what you were talking about. The Sixers, 1.5 up to 3, fell 1.
Well, they were catching 2.
It opened +2 to -3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that happened yesterday during our show at the very end of it when we caught that beat writer who said Memphis is basically sitting everybody, like right in front of us. Derek Stevens was on the show. Philly moved from +2 all the way up to -3. Imagine that's a playoff game.
No doubt. No doubt. That's right.
That would not happen because you're going to,
Yep. Send these in. You guys know who you are. You do a great job every single day. I think Winky Dunk sent this in. I got to look. Maybe it was Karen again. They wanted their favorite. I washed their favorite blankets. Grabbed some clothes out of the dryer. I came back. They're in it.
They hopped inside the dryer.
The two dogs jumped in there. Right.
Wow.
They were going to wash the stuff. And then they jumped in there. Look at their faces. Yeah, I'm comfortable. This is good. Both of them got in there.
This is where we want to be.
Yeah, right. So comfortable, and
This is something I've definitely never seen before.
Yeah, I haven't either. Washed their favorite blankets, grabbed some clothes out of the dryer, came back to find this. Both dogs in the dryer. That's awesome. And a guy who covers college basketball tweeted out a poll. Pat Forty, our friend, tweeted this. They could announce this week they're going to expand the basketball tournament. Should they expand the tournament? 94% said no. It's 6,400 votes and counting. The one thing we all agree on, pretty much. They get 90, almost 95, 5 no, and they're going to think, well, who cares? We're going to put more teams in.
Like, by the way, what's the margin for error here? That's 6,500 votes, like you said.
Yeah.
You could make that 6 million votes, and I still think it's going to be above 90%.
I think you're right. And a vicious beat. Phillies 3-1 in the bottom of the ninth. A walk-off inside the park home run. First time since the 20s by a catcher, and the Giants win it again. 18-3. Last 21 at home against the Phillies, although Harper just went deep. 2-0 Phillies in the fifth. The vicious beat there. Before the line moves, the sharp place is already there. They don't follow the market. They help shape it. You're not going to outmuscle billion-dollar books or full-time sharps all by yourself. With the sharp plays, you don't have to. Backed by advanced AI and connected to trusted insider sources. His contacts are awesome, and the sharp plays delivers the kind of edge that serious bettors count on every day. Free betting reports, real-time alerts, market-moving insights straight to your inbox or X-feed. Not some summer side hustle. He's been doing it since 2011, proving it with documented results, public logs, transparent receipts. Sharpplays.com. Trusted by pros, watched by the books. Visit sharpplays.com. Stay ahead of the line.
Second time through the order for Verlander. As we brought up, gives up the home run to Bryce Harper. So if you bet that for the Phillies to score a run in the third or the fourth, that's a winner. Doesn't look like the Blue Jays are going to come back. They're going to lose 2-1 the way it looks. The game just went dark. So and I'll tip my cap, by the way, to Jeff Erickson, who was on Prop Points. That's at 2 o'clock Eastern every day right here on VSiN. At the end of their show today, he was making a case, even though Bryce Harper has been in a big funk since he came back from the injury, he made a strong case that it could be a good game today for Harper against Verlander, and he did with a home run. So hopefully some of you were able to get down on prop bet for Bryce Harper as well.
Yep. Tomorrow in studio, my favorite guest in the 7 years of doing this show, Richard Munchkin, for multiple segments. Professional gambler, Gambling Wizards, AP, advantage player, so good, did this for so long, had a background in Hollywood, and a little tease. How about a guy using a computer to play roulette, and the computer hits the fritz, and it starts to something with the wire, and smoke's coming out of his shirt, and he has to run out of the casino.
Anything to see there or no?
Looking forward to that, all his stories.
That'll be good. I have NFL first coach fired odds.
Yes.
Now, this is like stuff that you can find offshore. I don't know of any legal sports books that offer this. I wish they would. If you've seen it before, the legal book, please pass it along. We're on X at VSiN Live, at Mitch Moss Radio, at Paulie Howard. Brian Dable is 4-1. First coach fired. I'll expand on
makes sense
on this in a minute.
Now, how about McDaniel?
5-1.
Wow. So when the guy goes to the playoffs the first 2 years, then you have the toe injury, and it doesn't work out last year and how bad they were without him. And now he's on the hot seat, and they made that horrible trade that we didn't like.
I would bet McDaniel at a much bigger number.
Yeah, that's too low.
Too low to bet.
But that's
right now.
Again, that's the thing that kills them. They look like a hot dog stand when Tua is not in there.
Yep.
How they can't even move the ball.
Steichen is 6-1. Stefanski.
No.
Plus 650.
No.
Jonathan Gannon 7-1.
Are you taking a stand? Who's the worst team in the league in your opinion? I bet the Saints 5.
Well,
I mean, is it? Do you have a strong take?
I made another win total bet today. It's on the Giants under 5.5.
Yeah, makes sense.
There's different juice out there. Definitely shop around.
Yeah.
They have the single toughest schedule in the league, and here's why. Dable's 4-1. Paul, there is absolutely a path where he's going to get canned.
Mm-hmm.
It's the 5th hardest schedule in September. Their first 2 games are on the road. They play 6 games. This is per Warren Sharp. Get this. They play 6 games against top 7 pass defenses from 2024 in their first 8 overall games. It's at Washington, at Dallas to start. They come back home and they get the Chiefs and the Chargers, at the Saints. They pretty much have to win that game. If they don't, after that, it's Eagles, at Broncos, at Eagles, Niners, at Bears, Packers, at Lions, at Pats. That's all before the bye.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it could be a double whammy where they go a triple whammy, where Dable could be the first coach fired. They go under 5.5. They might go under alt numbers as well, and they could have the most losses overall in the entire league.
Yep.
Miami has the 9th easiest schedule in football. They start at Indy, the Patriots, and at the Bills. I will say, and then they get the Jets, and then at the Panthers. If they're like 1-4, that's the angle for McDaniel, because they should actually have a good record after the first 5 games.
Should. Yep. Also, it's Thursday. That's Mama's Pizza. Best pizza in Texas. Franchise is available. Take advantage of that, and you get the tip jar open. Send in all your big tickets, your long shots, and what you have. What's in play. Send it in. Drop it in the tip jar tomorrow. Email the show, ftm@vsin.com.
I will definitely have at least one more, probably cross-sport parlay tomorrow during that segment. This is fun now, starting to shop around and maybe combining some conference winners in college football, playoff numbers, division numbers. I think I'm going to have the Bills to win their division on like every parlay I can imagine.
Yeah.
And up next, VSiN Zach Cohen's going to join the program. He loves betting tennis. We'll get his thoughts on how the rest of Wimbledon will play out, and he is already fired on some NBA win totals for next year. Grab them before the numbers move. That's next on VSiN.
Introducing the $500 trifecta. Use your GBank Visa signature credit card within 3 months of account opening.